Alright, 10 goals for my 20s. So hoi, what's up guys? I know I said I wanted to upload another combat sport video, but this week I hadn't time for that. So yesterday I was watching a documentary of Brian Tracy. So Brian Tracy is the first mentor I had. It was the book of him, No Excuses I think it was called. That was the first self-improvement book I bought back in 2014 I believe. Or 2015, I'm not quite sure. I think 2015, so 8 years ago. And in his documentary he said that you should write 100 goals you want to achieve in a lifetime, but I had the idea, what about 10 goals I want to reach in my 20s. So this year I'm turning 25, so in my mid-20s right now, and I thought this is a great time to set the goals for my next 10 years. So what I've realized my 20s so far was a lot of soul searching, a lot of gaining clarity of what I want to do with my life, because when I started my 20s, so after school, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I only knew I don't want to work in a normal job for the rest of my life. That was the only thing I knew, and that I like fitness. But as I evolved over the years, I gained more and more clarity, and therefore I want to show you my 10 goals I want to reach before turning 30. So it's not in a particular order, I just wrote down what came up to my mind, and the things that come up in my first minute in my head are the things that probably are pretty important to me, and I reached exactly 10 goals, so that's pretty funny. But the first one is being a successful MMA fighter. So that's something that I turned to quite recently. Last year I discovered that I always liked fighting and I always used to watch wrestling back in the day, but because I was pretty lazy and fat as a child, I gave it up and forgot about it completely. And now that I've started Yasekan, Jiu-Jitsu and also wrestling a bit, I realized that I really want to fight and I really want to use the rest of my years that I have to become the best fighter I can be. I don't know where I will end up, but I have a quite hard routine, so I'm training 3 times a week full body workout, so for my fitness, 2 times to 3 times a week Jiu-Jitsu, 2 times a week Yasekan, so that's basically like MMA, and then 1 or 2 times I do cardio. So a very hard routine, but I need to stick to that routine in order to become a good fighter. So the next goal is being a successful YouTuber, because I want to have a specific number. I want to reach 100k followers or subscribers here on YouTube. That sounds a lot, especially if you look at my channel, it only has 2k by now. But if you think I still have 5 years time, and I really believe that what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, and if I stick to it, stick to my weekly uploads, if I improve my videos, if I improve my fighting ability, if I can record the fights for example, and because I realized that fighting and MMA is becoming more and more popular, I really think I can profit from that, and also my travel vlogs and all that stuff. I really believe I can hit the 100k subs, so that's one of the main goals. The next one is living unscripted, and if you have watched my How YouTube Saved My Life video, I can link it up here. There I said that Unscripted was one of the best books I've ever read, and it gave me clarity on how to live unscripted, and that basically means being free, being financially independent, so that you can do with your time whatever you want, and that you unplug from the matrix, because it's often called matrix, the rat race for example. So that's another goal of mine, that's pretty important. And that brings me to my next goal, and that's using SafeMoon as my personal ETF. So I really believe strongly in SafeMoon, that it can be my ETF. So ETF is basically an exchange traded fund, but I don't want to invest into stocks as much, because I don't really believe that this will give me the best returns. I'm really a firm believer in crypto, and SafeMoon functions like an ETF. So if you invest into SafeMoon, tokens get burned, distributed into their holders, and therefore the amount gets more and more scarce, and you gain by time more and more. It's like with dividends. If you hold a specific stock and it pays you dividends, it's almost the same. So if you hold it long term, it gets rewarded, and I truly believe that SafeMoon can succeed because they are still working strongly on their product, and they've been through such a lot that they're still here. So I try to reinvest more and more now if I earn more money, because I started another side hustle, but I don't want to get into detail about that. It's not OnlyFans if you believe that, it's more about Instagram. But if I can earn money there, I will reinvest it into SafeMoon, and then when the next bull run hits, I'm pretty good financially, I believe. So that's currently with my finances. Then the fifth goal I've written is having an amazing group of friends, and that's a goal I've already achieved, but I think I can push this goal even further. So I realized I already have an amazing support group that I've got to know through fitness, but I also got to know new people because I've started MMA or Yosekan, because I've started Jiu-Jitsu, and of course the friends that I already had that helped me a lot, for example with YouTube or with my fitness or personal goals, for example. So I have already a pretty amazing community around me, but I think you can always got to know even more people, so that's another goal of mine. Then the sixth goal is a material goal, so I don't have a lot of them, but that's one of them, because I've always dreamed about driving a cool car as a kid, and I think that's something, even though I know it's not the wisest decision, but I think if I have enough money, then that's something I want to fulfill. It's like personal fulfillment. It's not that I want to be liked by someone if I have that car or something like that, but it's more that I see myself driving it, and I think if I look back, then it's cool that I fulfilled that dream. And it's not even that of an expensive car, it's a Subaru BRZ. I can show you a picture there. It costs around 15-20k, so it's affordable, and yeah, it looks pretty nice. It's a sports car that I could use here too in South Tyrol, so it's built for the streets. Then the seventh goal, something I never really had, but I always dreamed about too, and I think every man should have it, is being in a loving and supportive relationship. So I'm pretty picky about that, but I also wasn't the right person to be in a relationship. So I believe those two things combined resulted in now being single for almost 6 years and not having sex for almost 6 years. But also because I got pretty religious and I thought a lot about that, and I even consider not having sex for really months if I got to know the right girl. So I really want to wait for that, and it makes more and more sense that you should stay celibate until marriage. I don't say that I want to do that because I know myself and that's pretty hard, but that's something I'm aiming for, at least, that I wait a long time until I'm really sure that that's the right person I will spend a lot of years with, and then I want to have sex, for example. And what I'm looking for in the right partner is supportive, loving, feminine of course, but I also want her to be a little bit masculine. I know that sounds strange, but I never liked if a girl was only focused on me. Always liked if she had other ambitions, so fitness goals for example, or yeah, maybe even career goals. It's okay if she don't want to start a business or something like that. I don't expect that, because I think what fulfills a woman the most is family and the partner, for example, so love in general. But it's cool if she, for example, would also do fitness, so we could support each other, or she could support me with my journey, for example. Maybe, yeah, like she could work for me at some point or something like that, but that's far-fetched into the future. These are just some ideas, we will see. So I don't want to rush it, because I focused too much on that part in the past, and now I live more with acceptance and I'm more calm, so I can wait. I just first want to become the right person, or the best version of myself, and in that process I want to get to know the right girl for me. So that's important, and that's, I think, something you shouldn't rush into. Okay, goal number 8 is having a physique like Michael Chandler, Alexander Volkanovski or Buakaw. So that's a Muay Thai fighter, but you saw some pictures of them. So I want to be as lean as possible with as much muscle mass as possible. And something that's also pretty important is I want to do it without PEDs or steroids, because if you have seen my SARMs experience video, I can also link it up here. I think my body or my hormones aren't built for PEDs or steroids, because my estrogen levels are naturally pretty high. I think my testosterone is naturally pretty low. So if I take it, especially with the estrogen, my gyno gets worse, for example, and yeah, I have other side effects with my skin, for example. So I don't want to do that, and especially long term, for me it's important to stay healthy as long as possible, because I think combat sport alone is a huge risk, and if I would take PEDs even more, then it's long term even worse, I believe. Okay, then the second last goal, it's pretty similar, like goal number 1 or goal number 8 is being a determined fighter like Volkanovski or Chandler, because I watch them a lot. I watch their routines and what they are doing, and I really like how they live and their routines, and they're pretty committed to what they're doing, and I think that's what you need to have in order to reach excellence. And yeah, I want to really use the years, like I said before, to become the best fighter I can be, because I wasted a lot of years that I could have used, but it is what it is. I've just discovered it last or this year, so I want to use the years, so that's pretty important. And my last goal, and it's also like the unscripted goal, is being able to work from everywhere and seeing as much places as I can. So I always loved traveling. As a child I was looking into maps, and I always liked studying other places and even printing out some pictures of them. At some point I even made a Monopoly game where I put the places I want to be on there, and I think some places I want to travel to is of course America, especially the West Coast, so California was always a dream. Then South Africa would also be a pretty important place. I want to go back to Thailand to train some Muay Thai, that would be also pretty nice. Singapore, of course, that city always stuck in mind. I already were there, but it would be cool to return there. Also Barcelona, for example. There are a lot of places to see in the world, and I want to see a lot. So if I'm able to earn my money online, then I can fulfill that dream. So that's pretty important to me. But something I realized is that I like South Tyrol a lot, and I like the place where I live a lot, so I think I want to stay where I'm at, but I want to be able to travel, especially in the winter time, because winter is pretty hard here in South Tyrol. That would be a nice goal. So I think that's it with my 10 goals for my 20s. Comment down below some of your goals that you want to reach in the next few years. That would be pretty interesting. I promise you next week's video will be a fighting video, and it will be about Muay Thai. So stay tuned for that. Goodbye, Vitek, and we will see us in the next one.